In the previous section, we built an application that allowed us to use a pop-up menu or list picker to choose a friend's name, and this was then stitched together to make a greeting. We're going to extend this now to include a list view. We will use the list view to choose from a range of different greetings that we can use for the friend. So we're going to add, first of all we're going to save the project with a slightly different name, and then we're going to add a list view called ListView Phrases. So here we are in App Inventor. Remember that you have to have AI Starter running in the background as well. And I'm going to go first of all to My Projects, Save Project As, and instead of Hello List Copy, I'm going to just say Hello List 2. So now I'm going to add a list view. So list view is 3 stripes showing that we can have more than one choice on screen at the same time rather than a pop-up. And I actually think it makes sense if we place this above the friend's name. This is slightly different from what we see in the slideshow, but it just makes a bit more sense from a user interface point of view. We should always immediately rename things with something sensible. So from list view 1, I'm going to change it to list view phrases. Now, the easy way to supply some items for a list view or a list picker is to put in elements from string and give it a comma separated list. So instead of just hello, we could also have hiya and watcher and yo. So a few different types of phrases that we would use as a greeting. And we will give it a selection. So we will give it starting off with yo. And notice it has come up with 4 different options here. So all of our options are showing on screen. If we want to have a scroll bar, we can change the height. Instead of being automatic, which will fill all the options available, we are going to say perhaps 100 pixels. Now 100 pixels is showing us half of one of the options here, so we probably want to have something a bit more sensible, either take it down or up the way. I'm going to go for 120 pixels, and that's a better bit. We can see here that a scroll bar will appear, so other options will be available to the user. Okay, there's a few extra items in here that I haven't put in. You can put in as many different phrases as you like. Obviously you can use youth, culture, greetings, wagwan, and so on. Okay, so we now need to use a block that will be used after picking from the phrases. And we're going to join together the name and the phrase into a single greeting. Back to blocks. And to just move this out of the way. And we're going to say when list view phrases after picking, we are going to, and I'm going to make it easier on myself by duplicating this block here. Set the text box greet is what we want to do. We do want to do a join, and instead of hello, snap that off and bin it. We want to use the phrase that's appeared. Remember again, we can snap off any of these items. So elements would be the entire list of possibilities. What we actually want to put in is the selection. So we're going to join the list view, the list phrase selection to the list friend selection. That's fine. I should be able to go and check that out on my phone app. So notice it has now updated to show what's going on here. If you have any problems, then connect and refresh companion screen, or if it's not working at all, reset the connection and reload the emulator is your best bet. However, let's see what we've got here. I'm going to choose pick a friend's name, as we did before. I'm going to choose Harry, and it said hello Harry. Okay. What if I choose Hiya? Now notice Hiya produced Hiya Harry straight away. If I go in here, do I have a scroll bar? I can scroll through here. I can choose Watcher and Watcher Harry, but there's no space between Watcher and Harry, so I do need to change my code to deal with that. But when I click on pick a friend's name and choose Tom this time, it's always coming back with hello Tom, because we didn't change our code for this particular item, the list picker friend. So what we really need to do is to fix to have a space. So I'm going to come to this one here. I'm going to pop out the string and add another string in the middle. I'm going to come to the text and put an extra space in here between the phrase and the name. So space, maybe 2 spaces to make it a little bit easier to see. And then I'm going to make sure, by deleting that, I'm going to make sure that the same code runs regardless of which of the lists I use, whether it's the drop down or whether it's the on-screen list view. They both have the same code now, which includes a space between the different options. Back on my phone, I'm going to pick a friend's name, Dick, and Watcher Dick, perhaps unfortunate phrase there, appears. Pick a friend's name, Tom, Watcher Tom, change to Hiya, Hiya Tom, and so on. So we have a working list view and list picker that are creating our phrase. We are just going to make one additional extension here. So if we come back to our instructions, we're going to allow us to grow our list of friends. So we need to put in a box where we can type new names in, and we're going to have a button that adds that onto our list of names. So we're going to have text box new name and button add name are what we need to put in here. So back in designer view, I'm going to put a text box on. Maybe I'll put this above here, and that is going to be called, instead of text box 1, text box new name. And it might be an idea to have the button directly beside it for add name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to layout. I'm going to make a horizontal arrangement, and I'm going to stick my button inside here. That button is going to be called button add name. And beside it, in the horizontal arrangement, so that they're side by side, I'm then going to have text button new name. So this is being used to arrange things side by side on screen. Might also be a nice idea to have the greeting a little bit more prominent now, so I'm going to make that have a width of fill parent and a background colour of yellow, so that it stands out from the rest of the app. My button add name should have some different text on it. It should say add a name to the list. And my text box new name should have a hint. So our hint should be new name here. So we are now in a good position to be able to add people to the list, but of course we will need to have some code for this. So what we want to do is, when the button is clicked, so button add name.click, we want to do some list processing. So blue, pale blue for list processing. We want to add listpickernames.elements. To that list we want to add textboxnewName.text. So this should add a single name onto the already existing list. So back to blocks. We need to have a new block when button add name is clicked. I'm going to do my list processing, so here's lists in pale blue. I'm going to add an item to the list. That looks fine. The list that I want to add to is called listPickerFriend. And it won't let me snap this on at the moment because it can't add to a list called background color. But what it can add to is a list called elements. The elements are the individual items in the list. And I should now be able to snap that on to my block. And the item I want to add on should be a single item. And it should be the contents of text box new name. So again, I'm just going to take out font size here. I could snap that on, but that would be a mistake because I want the text of it and not the font size. Okay, this code looks ready to test. So I'm going to go back to my phone. I check that everything is still as it was before. So if I say pick a friend's name and Harry, it says yo Harry. But if I put in here something like Bob and add name to list, when I now choose hiya Harry, but I should be able to now see Bob has appeared on my list. So my app is extensible by the end user, and this is much better than just being able to use the values supplied by the programmer. The user will be much happier if they can customize their app by adding their own personal content.